Hi everyone, this is Natalie and I'm back with another tutorial for my Easter eggs project. And today I'm going to be stitching with you this beautiful design that I prepared for you. This is a willow tree and cherry blossom tree um, for the Easter eggs that I'm doing, and this is how they look like. I already made two Easter eggs. This is the sizes that I'm um, using for all the designs that I made. I made 8 different embroidery designs, and this is the small one that I was practicing on it, and this is the final look. I've finally finished framing and decorating this egg, and this is how it looks like. Let me know if you like it. And on my last streams I was teaching those lavender flowers and those beautiful white flowers, and on the previous live stream I was teaching the forget-me-nots. I'm making the same design but for the bigger egg, and today I wanted to show you how I finish the forget-me-nots. I decided to add those stitches to separate the petals and to make them look even more realistic. So this is how they will look like. I just use uh, you can use white embroidery threads, or you can use this number that I'm using right now. In my PDF pattern I provide all the color numbers and stitch guide instructions, so you can, if you want, you can stitch all those Easter eggs with me, and just follow the link in the video description below, and there will be all the information about the stitch along and how to join and how to where to download the pattern and get started. So for this flower I will just add straight stitches. I use 3 strands of floss, and I added carefully to not split any French knots and anything around the French knots. So I just carefully add those straight stitches. Looks like I accidentally went through the knot on the back side. Let me fix this. Yeah, this is better. And it will already make those forget-me-nots look even more realistic. They look much better with those accents and details. I really love it. And one of my students from my stitching club on Patreon, Christina, she added the white bead in the middle and surrounded it with yellow French knots, and it looks even prettier. Hi Pamela. Hello, as always, your work is beautiful. Can't wait to get my eggs. Well, they will be in April 2nd. That's awesome. In my PDF, you guys can find the links to all the materials that you will need, and you can find the link to those eggs, where to order them, and you can find all the links to all the rest materials you will need. So you will have all the information that you need to create those the same eggs like I'm doing right now. So this was the final touch, and I used my needle minder today. This is a new one. You can find it on my Etsy shop, Probably tomorrow because I didn't add the listing yet, but I will leave the link in the video description below and in the comments once this listing is ready. These are the needle minders. They are really strong. So there is a magnet on the back side, and you can store your embroidery needles while you are not using them. As we know, in hand embroidery we use different sizes of needles and we switch between them, so you can attach it onto your hoop like this while you're embroidering, or you can attach it to your hoop stand, or you can, if you use a bigger work, you can place it on the fabric right here. They have two magnets, so, and it will look like this. So you can use it wherever you like. I really love them. I have different designs. I have forget-me-nots that are going to be listed soon. This needle minder is already on my Etsy shop, so you can buy it. And this one too. I have beautiful designs, different floral designs for spring stitching, so these are really beautiful. I really love them, and yeah, I took a few needle minders for myself, so I will be using them for my work. And there will be 3 more designs like this. There will be crocuses. No listing yet, but I will leave the link once it's listed on Etsy. And there will be tulips and this one. It says healing. So those are needle minders that are going to be listed on my Etsy shop very soon. If you like, you can order yourself. I ship to the United States and to the Europe as well, and to Australia, so I ship internationally. So I will finish this thread on the back side, and I will use this hoop for the next embroidery. And I forgot to tell you about the meaning of those flowers in Ukraine. So in Ukrainian culture, forget-me-nots, we call them nezabudki. They carry deep symbolic meaning, and I will tell you this right now before I start stitching the willow tree. So the symbolism and meaning in Ukraine, it's we are often use we are often associate forget-me-nots with memory, love, and connection to the ones to our homeland. And forget-me-nots, they also symbolize remembrance, eternal love, and loyalty, which is why they are sometimes used in embroidery, folk art, and poetry. And during difficult historical times, Ukrainians in exile or displaced Ukrainians due to the war or oppression, we would hold onto symbols like forget-me-nots as a reminder of our homeland and loved ones. They represent the unbreakable bond between people and their roots. So forget-me-nots in Ukrainian traditions, they symbolize remembrance, and sometimes forget-me-nots are used to honor the memory of loved ones who have passed away, or those who were lost due to the war and oppression. It's also a patriotic symbol. Recently, this flower has gained meaning in Ukrainian patriotism, symbolizing the strength and resilience of the people. and that's why I used blue and yellow colors in this egg design. And it also symbolizes love and loyalty. In folklore, giving someone forget-me-nots was a way to express devotion and unbreakable love. So they were often embroidered on gifts or for loved ones. So this is the story for forget-me-nots, and I will tell you the story about willow trees while I will be stitching them. So yeah, let me know if you have such um, symbols of love, or anything like with what you are associated with those forget-me-nots in your country, in your traditions. So leave me some comments and let's chat about it. So this embroidery is ready to be framed in the egg already, and on my previous video on YouTube channel you can watch me how I frame them this way, so how I decorate the egg, and all the steps I will show you. This video is already on my YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and watch it. So I'm using this hoop. This is my working hoop, and I bended the inner part of the hoop this way, so it keeps my fabric really great. Uh, and there is no puckering, and I like to keep my fabric really tight, so I use this trick all the time for all the working hoops I use. So first of all, I make sure that the fabric is really tight. And I tied it this way, making sure that all the weaving in the fabric is properly aligned and it's not curved and it doesn't distort the pattern. So now I will place this in the hoop. In my hoop stand, sorry. So I use this hoop stand, and there is a link in the video description on YouTube channel where to buy it, and so I really highly recommend it because it helps me a lot, especially when I'm uh, video recording on my embroideries, and it flips this way, so I can easily flip my hoop and get to the back side to finish the thread when I need. I really love those hoop stands. They attach to the table, and it also can be in another form where you can take it to the couch and stitch it on the couch or in bed or anywhere else where there is no table. So there are two versions of those hoop stands. Pamela is asking, where do you get your embroidery threads? I usually get my embroidery threads in Michael's or online. I have a lot of threads donated by people in the Ukrainian hub. So some people bring those threads, and they Ukrainians know that I'm embroidery artist, so they told me to grab those threads. But yeah, I usually buy threads in Michael's because it's they have the cheaper price. But if you don't have Michael's store in your area, you can find everything online. I suggest to buy embroidery threads in bulk. I have links to those threads that I like to use in my work in the video description below on YouTube. So you can check out all the links that I recommend. I saved links to all the materials and tools that I use in my work, so you can go ahead and check which embroidery threads are the best for hand embroidery, because there are different brands, and I recommend DMC, Encore, if you can find Encore. There is also Madeira and other brands, and there's also a Japanese brand like Cosmo Seasons, but it's expensive, but it's a really great brand for embroidery. So for this design, I already chose the colors, and I will stitch the Pussy Willow tree blossom with this color. This is a light great color, and there is also a blossom for the cherry blossom, and this is the color that I will use for the cherry blossom. And for the stems, I will use this color, and I will also use some green color for the leaves. It's probably going to be the same color that I used for the previous designs, so you don't need to search for some more threads, and it's going to be 954. So this was one of the threads donated by somebody, and I'm using them for my work because yeah, that's a great quality threads, so why not? So let's start from some simple stitch, right? This is a beginner-friendly embroidery design, and you can learn a lot of stitches on the go. You don't need to have any practice. You just transfer it to the fabric. I have instructions in my PDF pattern about how to transfer it to the fabric. It's very easy, there is nothing complicated. I used heating erasable gel pens. You can use Pilot Friction brand if you like. And these lines, they will disappear on heating. Well, when you will iron your fabric, or when you can use a hair dryer, and this all will disappear after you are done your embroidery. So there is no need to wash your embroidery, because yeah, I don't like to wash my embroideries. I like to frame it right away after I'm done my embroidery, so yeah. So I will use this color first. We will create stems first, and then we will be adding all the rest, all the blossom and leaves around the stems. Okay? So I'm gonna use 2 strands of floss, uh, and it's going to be a stem stitch. And with 2 strands of floss you have an opportunity to start your thread without any knots, and I will show you how. Yes, for the embroidery threads, you can go to any cross-stitch store, and they should have a big variety of different brands and different threads that you can use for hand embroidery. The main difference is that they usually don't have the right fabric for hand embroidery, but for fabric you can go to the quilter shop and find the fabric there. This is a 100% cotton fabric, and it's not stretching, and you can find this fabric in any quilter shops. They use such fabric for making quilts, and you can use them for hand embroidery as well. This is a perfect fabric, I would say, and you can find brands like Kono Cotton probably in those shops, or you can buy fabric online. So yeah, there are different options. And for the embroidery needles, you will need um, such needles like this. For hand embroidery, they have a big eye and sharp point. Um, you don't need the needles that have a blind point because they used in cross stitch, but you need the sharp point to go through the fabric because this fabric it doesn't have holes like Aida fabric. And as we know, we don't use Aida for hand embroidery, okay? So you use special embroidery threads, needles, and these are usually sharp. They have, you can buy a set of needles because for different amount of threads you will need a different size of the needle, and you change the needle depending on how many threads you are using at the same time, right? So I will use the medium size of the needle, which is perfect for the 2 strands of floss. And I took only 1 strand and I put the ends together, and this way I created a loop on another side, and we can start stitching using this loop. I thread my needle using those 2 ends that I put together. I like to lick my thread, and when you make it a little bit wet, you can easily go through the eye of the needle. And I thread my needle this way. I have a short tail, like half way through, and there is a loop on this side. And I come up from the back side. I'm going to be stitching this line. So I come up here from the back. Oops, this needle is probably old and it will make weird sounds. I will probably change this needle to another one. When you use the needle for a while, it can become covered with some gray color, and it can make this sound. It's not smooth anymore. So yeah, it's better to change the needle or clean it somehow. I have I have a pincushion with the sand, and when I go through this pincushion with the sand, it helps me to clean the needle. So maybe try that, but if it doesn't helps, it's better just to replace the needle to a new one, and that's it. Because while you are stitching, your hands can become wet, and when you touch the needle with the wet hands, it can become in different color, like it become darker, and it can make such sounds like you just heard. Hi Joanne, do you over us lining with embroidery fabric? I found some 100% diaper material I'm fixing to try out. It's really soft and has some texture to it. As the main rule is that your fabric shouldn't be stretchy at all. It should be 100% cotton or linen. And so that's how you know is it good for embroidery or not. You can embroider on any type of clothing, so just before trying, just check if it's stretching or not. If it's stretching, so I would better to not embroider on this. If it's not stretching, it's strong, so it's good. It depends. So I will come up, I place my, oh no, I don't place in the hoop. I want to show you the back side. So I go through, but I don't go through completely. I leave the loop on the back side, and I make one long stitch or a short stitch. I can start with a short stitch actually, and I come up to the back side, I go through this loop, it goes through the loop, and this way how you can fix your thread, and you can continue stitching and you will not have any knots on the back side. This trick works for 2 strands or 4 strands if you use, so it's a nice way to start stitching without any knots. So place my hoop in the hoop stand, I will start stitching. Okay, I hope you guys see everything. So Joanne was asking, probably use, do you ever use lining with embroidery fabric? What is lining? Maybe it's some stabilizer or something? Please explain what do you mean. So we made a short stitch and I can go back and add a long one. And for the stem stitch, I keep my thread using my left hand. So I create like a loop that always should be on one side. I choose on which side it should go depending on the shape of the object. If the object has a curved shape, so I like to keep my loop outside of this curved shape. And this way is the best way to create a smooth line and it will look more perfect. So for the stem stitch, you need to make a long stitch, which I keep in my hand, and you go back and you come up exactly in the middle between the point where you started and when you put your needle down. So you need to come up exactly in the middle. In this case, you are coming up exactly in the place where you just finished your previous stitch. Like this, and continue. And I'm moving down and it should create a really nice and smooth line. And this is the stem stitch, one of the most simple stitches for outlines. So while I'm stitching, I can tell you the story about Willow. You see trees? How do you call them? Pussy willow tree or just willow branches, willow blossom, or how do you usually call it? In Ukraine, we call it verba. And it's an important part of Palm Sunday. In Ukraine, we call it Verbna Nedelia. It's a holiday. And Ukrainians are making little bouquets of the pussy willow trees because they are blooming early in spring. So the Verbna Nedelya, Palm Sunday, is celebrated the Sunday before Easter. But since palm trees do not grow in Ukraine, so we use willow tree branches instead. And it symbolizes Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. I'm not religious, but I know about this meaning of the willow trees, and I would like to tell you the story about it today. Because I saw people around the churches with those willow trees, and they were waiting for the starting the ceremony. And I also participated when I was a child. So while willows are one of the first trees to bloom in early spring, making them the symbol of renewal, life, and strength. So Ukrainians believe that willow branches have protective and healing properties and bring health, luck, and prosperity to the household. And I also like to bring these branches to my apartment if I find it, because they are so beautiful, and they the sign of the starting the spring, and that everything else will start blooming as well. I love how they look, and I decorate my home with them. So people make those beautiful bouquets, and they're waiting uh, near the church for the blessing. On Palm Sunday, people take willow bouquets to the church. They are blessing them with holy water. We also have a gentle tapping tradition. After the service, family members lightly tap each other with the willow branches and saying «Не я б'ю вербаб'є за тиждень Великдень», which is in translation means it's not me hitting, it's the willow. It's a week, in a week it's gonna be Easter. So that's a tradition that I also saw when I was living in Ukraine. So here I see that my thread is pretty short, and so I will park it on a side to finish later, and I will start a new thread. So this it means when you hit somebody with a branch of the willow tree, it meant to bring good health and strength for the coming year. So after people blessed those willow branches, they bring those bouquets home, and they will keep it close to the icons to ward off the evil and bring blessing to the family. I accidentally flipped my loop to the front side. I'll start this thread again. So I also start my thread the same way. I use the loop on the back side to start my thread. And yeah, just be careful to not go through your loop for the next stitch. And when I do the steps, I try to think carefully and to plan where I will start going and where I will be jumping to which side, because this thread is pretty dark, and if I will jump from from the back side too far away, it may be visible from the front side. So I carefully think and plan where I will start stitching and where I will finish this thread. So I started from here and I moved to this point, and from here to here it's going to be really short distance to jump. So I jump into this part, and then I went to this part and I finished the thread here. But I could go, if I would still have some thread to stitch with, I would go back. On the back side I would wrap my thread to this point at least, and I would jump here and make a few stitches here and a few stitches here. And so my thread right now on the back side, but it's here. So from here to here really I really can jump and start stitching this branch, because on top of this is going to be stitches for the leaves, and this jump, it's a pretty short jump and it's not gonna be visible from the front. John says, lining on very light fabric like a stabilizer to use. Or do you mean if I use one more layer of the fabric? Sometimes when I work on the bigger projects, or if the fabric is slightly transparent, I may use one more layer of the fabric to make sure that the my fabric is stretched perfectly. So additional layer of fabric also can help you to stretch everything really tight. In a combination with wrapping the inner hoop, it will be like a perfect tension for embroidery. So yeah, I recommend you to have one more layer of the fabric if you want to make it even more uh, tight in the hoop. It will also prevent from seeing the threads from the back side on the front side on the front. So additional layer of the fabric also helps for this. Um, so yeah, this is a nice tip, but I use it sometimes when I really need it, and so for me, it's easier to work with just one layer of fabric, especially when I take the work from the hoop out of the hoop, and if I'm framing into something else, or I'm using it for some other purposes, like for wrapping the fabric around the eggs. So for me, it's easier to have just one layer of fabric, but yeah, sometimes I use two layers. But it's mostly for the bigger embroideries, bigger projects. So you can finish the stem stitch with just one long stitch, or you can make one more shorter stitch from here. Um, it depends on which result do you want. If you want to make sharper points, you can skip this shorter stitch step. So right now I'm located on this part, and I need to jump here and continue stitching this part and this part, but I can see that if I will do a long stitch across from this part to this part, it's not gonna work, and I don't recommend doing that. So I will better finish my thread on this place, and then I will start it here, and I will move down here and then I will go back and I will finish all the rest branches. So this is the plan. That's what I'm gonna do right now. So how I like to finish my thread, I will show you, because it's a really nice tip. If in case if you are new here and you didn't see it in my previous videos, I try to show it every time how I like to finish my thread. So right now I'm here and I want to create a loop, and I slide between my fabric and the previous stitch close to the place where I just finished my thread, and I will create a loop this way. And now I go through this loop and I tighten it, and it creates a small knot. You can do it one more time if you want to double secure your thread. And I don't cut the fabric yet. And at this step I want to wrap this thread a few more times down the line, and now it's really secured, and I can cut really close, because this tail after the knot, it's hidden, it's gonna be hidden under my stitches, and it's gonna be secured. So if you want to keep your backside neat and clean, I recommend you to do it this way. So I'll start a new thread. So it's going to be enough thread for me to go from here and go back here. If you're having a hard time threading your needle, it's fine. There are needle threaders, and you can find it in any sewing and cross stitch shops. So it's a nice accessory helping you um, to um, to thread your needle without any problems. Oops, I went through my loop again. So yeah, it's better to go to look on the back side, what's going on the back side while you're stitching. Okay. And there's also farmers. They sometimes they bring blessed willow branches to their fields to bless the crops and ensure a good harvest this year. So this is one of the traditions I know about willow trees. So I will try to jump this way, and then I will go back to that place. Just like this. Okay, first I will stitch this branch. And then I will go back to the main line and I will finish the rest. You can use any other stitches for the outline, like stem stitch, or it can be also a split stitch, back stitch. I also like whipped back stitch. Split stitch also would be great. I think. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite outline stitch. Which stitch you use the most. I use all the stitches that I mentioned above for different purposes. It depends what kind of effect I want to get. They're all great. Perfect. I have enough thread to finish this branch. I'll finish the thread on the back side. And I will switch to the next color. It's gonna be a light, great color for the willow tree blossom. So this is going to be the color 168. And I'm going to use, you can use all 6 strands or you can use 4 strands. I think both ways you will get the effect that you need. Let's see. Let's see which effect we will get if you will use only 4 strands of floss. Yeah, I guess 6 strands of floss is going to be much better. Let's try 6. Do you have another method or to finish a thread? I don't know, I just use this one. I think this one is the best. It works for me every time, especially it works great when you are stitching on some clothing and you don't want it you don't want your stitches to be undone. So now, as I'm using all 6 strands, I'm changing the needle and I will use the biggest needle from the set, which has the bigger eye, so I will be able to thread all 6 strands. So how I usually do it, I make the thread a little bit wet, just a little bit, and I'm flattening the thread between my fingers and it becomes flat like this. And this way is it should be easy to go through the eye of the needle. You can also do this way. You can squeeze the thread between your fingers. Make sure that they all have the same length. If not, you can just cut um, cut it and make sure that all the threads they have the same length. So just squeeze it between your fingers, and when you go closer with the eye of the needle, you open your fingers and the thread should go easily through the loop, like this. See? Even if it's not wet, if it's dry, it should be easy to go through the eye of the needle this way. And with 6 strands of floss, there is no way to start without any knots, so I will probably make a little knot like this. And I also like to cut the thread really close to this knot, so I don't have any long tails hanging around, and because they can interfere with your stitches and it's not gonna be easier to stitch. So this stitch is going to be a lazy daisy stitch. So to make a lazy daisy, I come up here when I want to make start the lazy daisy, and I also need to go back into the same place where I just started. And as I'm using a knot on the back side, I slightly move this knot on a side so I don't go through this knot with my needle because it's going to be hard to go through. So I go through the same place back, but I keep my thread with my fingers so I don't pull the thread to the back side because I need all the thread to be on the top and I need to make a loop. Now I come up in this place where I need to place my lazy daisy and I go through this loop this way. I tied it, but not really tight, not too much. So we have a nice rounded shape lazy daisy. And now to finish the lazy daisy, you need to make a little stitch and it's gonna be little anchor stitch. I go through the fabric outside of the loop. Try to not split anything. You go completely outside without splitting anything, and it's gonna be a little anchor stitch and I will fix this loop on place and it will be laying down really nicely. So now I go to this place and make another lazy daisy like this. If you don't want to have this space in the inside the lazy daisy, you can make one more additional stitch. So I come up here where I just started lazy daisy and I make a stitch uh, this way that it will fill the space that you got like this, and it will look like this. There will be no space in the center, so you can do it with each stitch that you do right away if you want to fill this space. Let me know which way you like, without this central stitch or with it. Um, it depends. You can do it wherever you like. If you like it this way, just do it this way. I like lazy daisies just the way they are, but if you want, you can add that additional stitch. And when you tie your lazy daisy, you need to keep your thread uh, in the direction towards you, so the lazy daisy will lay down nicely the way you want it to be. Lazy daisies are really fun and easy stitch, so I recommend for beginners to try it. If you never tried it, with lazy daisies you can create a really beautiful teeny flowers and teeny leaves. It's a really nice stitch. It's one of my favorite stitches actually. I also like chain stitch. It creates a really beautiful borders. It's similar to lazy daisies, but it's like you continue doing lazy daisy one after each other and it creates a chain stitch. And as you can see, I also plan it when I start stitching and when I will go and when I will finish stitches. So I started here and I moved down to this place and then I jumped here and I moved down, and now I can start stitching those lazy daisies that are left here. So just a little bit of planning in your head, it will help you to avoid long jumps or starting and finishing your thread in different places. Let me know in the comments if you have some springtime traditions in your country and which flowers or plants it's related. It's going to be very interesting to learn. because I know I have subscribers from different countries, and you may have different traditions. It's going to be the last lazy daisy here. Sometimes your threads, they have different lengths in your work, so you need to fix it like this. Just you can easily fix it by brushing your threads, by helping yourself with the needle. So how do you like it so far? I really love it. It looks really cute and simple, I guess. Let me know if you will try it. I will finish this thread and I will switch to another color and we will be stitching cherry blossoms. And for cherry blossoms, we are going to use another fun embroidery stitch. And I will put away this big embroidery needle because I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna use 3 strands of floss. And for the 3 strands of floss, I will use the medium size of the needle. Medium size needle, sorry. Okay, I have it here with another thread, so I will use it. So it's gonna be a color 962, or it can be any other pink color that you have. And I'm gonna use 3 strands. So as you know, like embroidery threads, they come with 6 strands together. And to separate your thread, you need to find one thread, pull it separately, and keep with your fingers all the rest threads. And when you are pulling, they will be collected in your palm this way, and it's the best way how to separate the threads. They will be easy untwisted, and that one thread that I took out, I let it to unwind and untwist, and I lay down and I separate each thread separately this way, and only then I will place them together, and this way you will have really nice stitches. It's also good especially for satin stitch. I highly recommend you to separate each thread separately. So I'm threading my needle, and I will start the thread with a knot because it's 3 strands. It's not possible to start it without knots, especially if I will be starting stitching in these places. But there is a way how you can start 3 strands of floss without a knot, but I will show it later in my future tutorials. It's a little bit advanced. You can watch my other videos and I show it there. In this case, it's hard to start without knots, so I will make a knot. So I will be stitching those cherry blossoms. I will start stitching on the left side first, and then probably I will need to finish my thread, or I will be jumping. Yeah, I will be jumping, and I will show you how to jump without making a long thread. On the back side, I will show it to you. So I will start stitching here, and then I will move here, and then I will return to this place, and from this place I will be jumping to this place. So it's gonna be French knots. Let me know if you know already this kind of stitch. If you don't know it yet, I will show you how to make it. So I came up and I keep my thread using my left hand, and now I'm wrapping my needle 2 times, and I go back close to the place where I just came up, but not exactly into the same place. I tighten my loops slightly, and I keep my thread using my finger on the left side, and now I go through. So we have a really nice and beautiful French knot. I know that some people they're struggling with French knots, and I made a separate video tutorial explaining different mistakes that people can do. So I highly recommend you to watch it. So I'm showing again. I'm wrapping it 2 times. I go back almost in the same place. I tighten it slightly. So all the loops, they move down close to the fabric, like they lean this way. And only now I can go through. Slowly, don't rush, because if you will make unwanted knots, it will be hard to undo. You will have to cut it out and start over. Again, I'm wrapping 2 times. I go back. I tighten it slightly, not too much, so I'm able to go through those wraps. I keep my thread using my left hand all the time. You can wrap only once, and it will create a smallest French knot. Or you can wrap 3 times, and it will create a bigger knot. You can play with the variation on sizes and see which one you like the most. I don't actually go through the same place by the reason, because sometimes you accidentally pull the thread to the back side, and you can accidentally pull the entire French knot to the back side. So that's why I don't put my needle exactly through the same place where I just came up. I go really close to it. So this time I wrapped it three times. And I should get a slightly bigger French knot. Let's see. Let's make 2 wraps here. And the biggest here. I will make 3 wraps. And 3 wraps again. And 2 wraps here. I love French knots, and this is one of the interesting stitches that you can use to add some details, to imitate some. See, this in this case, I'm imitating the cherry blossom. The branches are really small and tiny, so perfect for French knots in this case. I really love adding French knots in the center of the flowers, like I did with forget-me-nots. You can also add French knots in the center of woven roses. I really love it. So I just finished all the French knots on this side, and instead of making a long jump from here to here, I will flip the hoop to the back side, and I can do this way. So instead of jumping to here and making one long stitch, I just go under my previous stitches and it will look much more neat in this place. So now I can continue stitching the French knots. I really love the combination on Pussy, Willow, Pussy. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Yeah, probably Pussy Willow tree, right? With cherry blossoms because they start blooming approximately at the same time. First, we can see Pussy Willow, and then you can see cherry blossoms and apricots also blooming at the same time. And I really like this time of the season when the trees are blooming and it smells so good. I really miss this moment in my life when I go to the village and my parents, they usually have a lot of fruit trees around the house, and it was so beautiful and it smells really, really gorgeous. And at the same time, like tulips start blooming and everything smells and it's just amazing time of the year. I really love it. So I can't wait for it. Here in Canada, I don't find many cherry blossoms, and but there are still some trees I can find while I'm walking around. So yeah, I can't wait to see the trees in bloom. When you will learn the technique, you will be able to make French knots really fast, just like I do right now, with the confidence in your hands. So it will all come with practice, but when you're just learning, I recommend to do it slowly and carefully, just no rush, and follow the steps that I just showed you, and you will get perfect French knots. A little bit of work, and we will finish this entire composition on this live stream. Let me know in the comments if you like French knots or you hate French knots, and explain why. Maybe I will try to help you and send you the link to the right video tutorial so you can fix your mistake. If you don't like French knots at all and don't want to learn them, you can use some beads instead of French knots. So I also do it instead. It also will look really nice and sparkling with beads. I really love adding beads to my embroidery projects. Okay, I'm done with a cherry blossom, and now I can switch to another color and stitch the leaves. I will finish this thread later, so I will park my thread on the side, and I will use 3 strands of floss, and it's going to be the color number 954. So it's going to be um, sanding stitch, and I will stitch one half of the leaf with a lighter green color, and another half of the leaf is going to be slightly darker. I will use this color after I do this one, and it will help me to create an illusion that we have some light and shadows, and the leaves will look volumetric. So I like to start from the first stitch in the center of the leaf, and I will move to this side of the leaf, and it's going to be a satin stitch. This is how you stitch a satin stitch. You place parallel stitches close to each other in the same direction. I choose the direction of the, like, it goes like veins of the leaves, they go in this direction, so this is the best way to stitch the leaves. I will quickly stitch one half of the leaf, and then I will explain you in more details for another leaf. So you could see how it should look like. It should look smooth. All the stitches should be close to each other, and you should keep the right stitch direction to make the leaf look natural and smooth and nice. So now I will switch to this leaf. It's bigger one, and I start from the tip of the leaf and I will move down. I like to start on the tip because it's easier to follow the right stitch directions this way. And so I made the first stitch and I come up really close to this place, and To help yourself with the stitch direction, I can place my thread this way and make sure that it will go into the right direction. So this is a tip that you can use to help yourself with the right stitch direction. I will make an illustration for my PDF pattern that you can follow and look at the guide for the stitch direction while you're stitching, so you will have it. You will also have a picture of the finished work, and you would see which direction the stitches should go. So I saw different kind of mistakes for the satin stitch, and I see that the biggest mistake was actually when people don't follow the right stitch direction. Sometimes when you are stitching, you can accidentally change the stitch direction and it will give a completely different look. So try to follow the right stitch direction as much as you can. In case you did a mistake, you stitch it in the wrong direction, it's okay. You can easily undo your stitches and start over. It's not a big deal. It's better to do mistakes instead of just doing nothing, right? When you do mistakes, it means that you do something and you are learning. So now I will jump to this sleeve. This one is the smallest one. I should finish stitching it really, really fast. So I can now finish my thread, and I can show you how I finish my thread when I do satin stitches. So usually how I do it, I flip my work to the back side, and usually satin stitch looks exactly the same way how it looks on the front. As you can see, it looks almost the same way. And so I came up in this place and I do a small stitch. I slide between my stitches and the fabric, and I create a loop like this, and I go through this loop and I tighten it. So now I have my thread secured, and to hide the ends I go between the fabric and the threads. I make one quite long stitch this way, and this is how I like to hide my tails, the tails of the threads. So now I can cut it really close, and this is how it looks. I just finished my thread in this place and it's invisible. So now I will start a new thread and I will use a darker color. It's gonna be 911. And I also use 3 strands of floss here. If you have some multicord or variegated threads, I highly recommend you to try them, and your leaves will look much more natural and beautiful. There are different kind of stitches for leaves, and you can find different tutorials on my YouTube channel and learn a lot of different stitches that can make your leaves look completely different depending on the final look what you want to achieve. You can use different stitches. There is a fishbone stitch I really love because it creates a really beautiful texture. I love it in a combination with the woven roses. And when I embroider woven roses, I always use fishbone stitch. For those small leaves, I just use simple satin stitch, and it also looks nice. It should be simple. I just try to keep it simple for you guys, so there's nothing complicated and you can embroider it yourself, even if you are trying it for the first time. It should be really, really simple. So that's it. I will finish the rest of the green part on this side, and let me know, guys, if you like it. If you liked my video tutorial, give me some comment, give me a like under this video, so maybe more people will see it. And I really love to hear some feedback from you guys. How do you love this video? Come back for more video tutorials, and I will go live next week. I will plan my YouTube live stream and Instagram as well for the Tuesday probably, because on weekends I will have a live workshop for those embroidery designs for the Easter eggs, and I will take a few days off. So I hope you liked my video tutorial. Give me some comments, and I will see you in my next video. If you want to join this stitch along, find the link in the video description below and download the pattern and stitch it with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!